What is up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about the Victrix Pro Stick. I've used this stick for about a month now, and I just wanted to give you my general thoughts and kind of a review of the stick. And while I was actually using the stick for this month, I actually had a tournament to go to here in my hometown, an international Tekken tournament where a lot of international competition actually came. And it was just the perfect opportunity to use and try to really use this stick that is it is kind of like the ultimate travel stick. So yeah, I'm gonna just go over my thoughts of the Victrix Pro FS, which is what this stick is called, and I'm gonna be comparing it to this stick right here, the Etokki, which is like these two sticks are basically the complete opposite of each other. They are like these two sticks represent two very different things, and it's kind of interesting, and you'll probably realize more as I talk more about the sticks. Anyway, let's start with talking about the Victrix Pro. And what is it that makes this stick so great for tournament players, and especially for people that travel a lot with their arcade stick? And it has a few features that really makes it very easy to use for travelers. First of all, if you start from top to bottom, that's these things right here. These are just like, things you can wrap your cable around, so you can always manage your cable pretty easily. They are also detachable with a thing that actually, I can't remember the name of it, but like this small screwdriver, you can easily just screw the two screws off right here, and then it goes loose, and you can take them off. So if you don't like these things, and you're not really the guy that wants to travel, but still like the look of this stick, you can do that. The stick you see right here, and the actual cable, it is detachable, and it is a regular USB-C cable, which means unless you're using iPhone, your phone probably uses USB-C. So any phone charger you have can be used to play with the Victrix Pro, and also the other way around. This cable can be used if you drop your charging cable for your phone. You can use this cable to charge your phone, which is really nice, actually. And it's a nice braided cable. Like as you'll see with this thing is just like the build quality of it is top notch, but there's also some things about it I don't like, but we'll get into that later. Next, a reason this thing is very easy to travel with. It's getting more accessible now, where you can get like levers that do this, but you can actually detach this thing right here. So you can detach the ball itself, the lever. And the way you do it is just you press down, and you see like this small thing come out, and then you just hold it down, you put it in, and now it's there. And you just lift up again, and it's out. Very easy. And that's just this is probably one of the best features as to why the Victrix is really cool in the transport way. It's becoming more normal, and I see other people modding the stick to be able to do it, and it shouldn't be as hard anymore as when the stick first came out. This was actually a really big selling point. But now it's less of a selling point actually, but it's still really cool. And if you're not into modding, you can buy a stick that has it pre-built. Next thing that makes this very easy to travel with, it has built-in handles here. So you can just carry it around like this, and it has that in both. So you can hold it like this. Very easy to carry around at tournaments. You don't need to always you don't have to really think about the cable, because the cable kind of just sits up here. And you can just detach the cable if you don't like it at all, and you can just walk around with it like this at the tournament. And next is this stick is pretty damn big. This stick is pretty damn big, but I was using my trusty backpack here. Just I don't know what the brand is. Herschel, I think. Herschel. It's a regular old backpack, school backpack, one room here at the top. There's not really anything special about it. It's 20 liters, and it can fit this. It can fit the Victrix Pro. It's a bit tight, in the size. It can just you have to it fits, and it doesn't it's not it feels like it's poking out. You just have to work a bit on the top here to make sure that it to get the zip up. But it can still it can fit the stick, and it can fit 4 Red Bulls and a and a half liter of water, So that is what every tournament player needs. So that's basically why the Victrix is so appealing for tournament players and people that travel a lot. But of course, that isn't the only thing that appealing about it. If I had to describe the Victrix, I would say that if Apple wants to make a fighting stick, this is what they would make. Maybe minus the LEDs. Let's just talk about the build quality. So what you see is like an aluminum finish here on the top, and also a bit on this, like here, and also on the bottom. And it also just like something I actually didn't know that is actually amazing about this stick is that here you can't really see it. You can kind of see it here. You can kind of see how it bends right here, right? And honestly, this took me by surprise. It seems like such a small thing, but when you are sitting with this thing on in your lap and you have placing your hands on it, it feels so comfortable just because of that small decline. And it's just, it's actually the best. And like, it's just these small things that this stick gets very right. The second thing about the build quality is something I noticed that I dislike about it is, if you see here, I don't know if you can see, but like the inside of it is plastic. It's plastic. You can actually like kind of, it's plastic. The same with the bottom here. This right here. This whole thing is also plastic. The whole inside is basically plastic. So it just has like this aluminum finish. I would actually be scared of dropping this thing. This thing seems like if I drop this, it's dying. Like if I'm at the airport, this thing is in my backpack, and I accidentally, I want to put my backpack down. This has happened to me like 3 times at the airport. I want to put the backpack down because I'm sitting, and I just like, I lose my grip as I'm like wrapping around my shoulder, and then it like kind of like plonk falls on the ground. I would be scared of this thing afterwards. I wouldn't know if this thing would survive that kind of fall. Whereas the Etokki, this thing is all plastic. This all metal. This is just like, I don't know, steel. It's just metal. Like there's a bit of plastic here at the top, the dust cover, but everything else is just a metal body. So like I've dropped this thing like a few times at the airport, and I'm 100% sure this body is not gonna break. The stick might break, the buttons might break, but the body, this thing is not gonna crack. So that's something I don't like about the build quality of the Victrix Pro, if I have to be honest. Next, let's talk about the insides of it. So here we can open up. It's very easy to open up. You just have a small lid. And the way it's actually meant to be opened up is you are sitting, imagine you're sitting on your lap, this thing is on your lap, and you just kind of like open it up and then like this. So like it is presented to you like this when it's in your lap. And if we look at the inside here, that it's pretty easy to customize. I'd like to call this customization. Like you can take out, like the wires, and like you can take out the buttons pretty easy. You can take out the stick really easy. But if you want to do actually any real modding, where it's like, you want to change the PCB, let's say for PlayStation 5s or Xbox Ones, because you want to use this stick on an Xbox One or the new Xbox One or PlayStation 5, that's going to be a tough challenge, I think. I haven't really played with it, but I imagine it's actually really hard to actually get any real modding done on this thing. At the bottom here, we can see that there is the screw right here, which is used to like unscrew stuff around the thing, like the things, like those things on here is included. It has a small space, so it can be easily customized that way on the go. And on the side here, we have place for your stick. So and we have this small dust cover here you can put in place of the stick. Next, let's talk about the buttons up here. So it has a few different buttons. It has, if we can see here, it has the PlayStation button. It has a share button as a PlayStation controller. It has a light LED button. It has a button for its headset. All right, at the bottom here, there's a headset in port, so you can put in your headset so you can hear PlayStation. So you can use that as a port, like you use a controller. You have the Victrix button here, which can be used to, there's a few functions. Now it's in tournament mode, which means all these other functions don't work. And there's also some other features you can use it. Then it has these 3 buttons here, which is programmable buttons, and then it has options. This time we're talking about the programmable buttons. So for example, the Pro 1 button is in Street Fighter 5 on PlayStation will reset training mode. So it's the same as like pressing the restart training room menu button in the game. It'll do that for you. And like there's also some other features, and like I think you can program them to do whatever you want. And it's actually pretty nice. It's actually really nice that they've included it. Then let's talk about the LED button. So as I said, it has this LED button right here. And I think it's best to show it like this. So the LED button works like so. So you have this mode here, which is just like a standard like color. Then you have this mode, which like it does this pulsing, if you can see. Like it pulses. So like that. Then it has this mode, which is like it's RGB. It goes through and changes RGB. It's also like this on the menu. Comes up here. Also goes through colors. Then it has this mode here, which I think it reacts to inputs. So like, so yeah, that's pretty fun. Then it has this, which is just all white. It's just all white mode, I think. As far as I understand, it's just all white. These buttons right here, if you actually don't have the stick plugged in, you can't actually see these buttons. Like if I plug this out, you can't see them. And you can change the color. If you didn't know, for all you Victrix aficionados out there, you can change the color by holding in the LED button and then turning the stick. So like if you do this and then do this, you can see it's switching color. And then let's say we like this color, we'll just stop. Now this is the color on the Victrix. So that's kind of the Victrix, and like this is like and the features the Victrix holds. And the question is it worth it? Is it worth all the bells and whistles? Like this was a $525 expensive stick. Was it worth it for me to buy this stick? Personally, I love the stick. Personally, I really like the Victrix. I've been using it for a month, and I don't regret the purchase. I was very tired of my Etokki. I didn't like my Mad Cats either. This stick suits me very well. But just because I like the stick, and just because I don't think like I wasted my money buying it, I will say the build quality and the cheap plastic it's made out of is kind of like that is the biggest letdown. Like fair enough that you like use your own PCB, and fair enough that I can't really change it myself. Like it looks like it's very hard to like open up and change the PCB. I can live with that. I can understand where they're coming from, and that's also something Mad Cats does. So I'm more cool with that. But what I'm not cool with is just like the plastic itself. Like it feels very cheap. Like even like when you buy a Mad Cat stick, the plastic doesn't feel as cheap. This feels like if I drop it, it's breaking, which like is very terrifying when it's that expensive of a arcade stick, and it's not, and it's intended for travel use. This stick is designed to be easy to travel with, and when it's easy to travel with, you also think they would take in mind that it needs to be a bit sturdy, but it seems like they didn't really think of that, which is very disappointing. But the best way to summarize this stick, in my opinion, is, and I think I said it before, is this is like if Apple were to make a arcade stick, this is it. And either you're cool with that and you have like no problem with that, or you're like, this is too damn expensive and I don't want to waste my money on these quality of life features, because that's what it is. This is quality of life features. That just makes the experience of playing fighting games a bit more fun. It's a bit more fun like using this stick, in my opinion. And it's not really like measured in any way. Like this thing in Street Fighter, if I boot up Street Fighter 5, plug this thing to my PlayStation 5. Like this thing, there's only one thing this stick can do that my Etokki can't do. And it costs, I don't know how much it is, and like $200 more than an Etokki to get it here to get it to Denmark. I think like it would be 200 more to get it to Denmark compared to like if you were to get the Etokki. I think the Etokki and the Victrix cost the same in America. But anyway, my point was that the only feature this thing has that the Etokki doesn't have, well, 2, actually 3. Okay, but it's like the only feature I actually think about, let's say like the only feature I actually think about this thing has that the Etokki doesn't have is the reset button in training mode, which is so nice. But like it has like the headset, and like it has the tournament lock mode. But you don't really need the tournament lock mode on this thing, because like the chance of you hitting these buttons, because there's nothing like the tournament lock mode used to be a thing on Madcast Stick, because you would have buttons here and you'd bump them into the table as you're playing. But with this thing, like, it's these small touch, like not touch, but these small buttons here, and the chance of you hitting these buttons when you're playing in tournaments is very small. At least for me, I know how crazy you would have to be with the inputs to, like, instead of hitting like this button here, you hit here. I know, like, maybe some people do that. Like, that's the biggest difference in my opinion between the two. And you can make up, you can think for yourself, like, this stick is worth it, and this stick is really pricey, but you know, at the end of the day, it's an arcade stick, and we use it to play fighting games, and both sticks can be used to play fighting games. Hell, you can use a Mayflash stick if you want to play fighting games, but that doesn't mean like it's a nice experience using. But the step between the Etokki and the Victrix is more in like quality of life, where, you know, like, you don't really need the features on the Victrix to be able to compete in tournament or play the game properly, or like have a good time playing the game, but it just makes it a bit more fun. Like, and that's like, it's hard to measure that kind of stuff. Like, it's fun. So it's up to you if you think the Victrix is worth it. I think after a month's use, the Victrix is worth it. One last thing. Sorry, I almost forgot. So you guys can't hear this. But as I said, this is a very expensive stick, and I paid a lot of money for it. So the least thing I expect is my parts to be nice, like good. And you guys can't hear this because my microphone is not that sensitive at the moment. But if I go to the left like this, it kind of goes, have this small like a squeaky wheel. It sounds like a squeaky wheel. It doesn't do it when I go to the left, only to the right. It does this squeaky wheel sound, and it's so freaking annoying. I will say, after going to the Tekken tournament and doing a lot of Korean backdashing, and just basically using it more than you need to use it in Street Fighter on a day-to-day basis, it has become better. But it still does that squeaky wheel sound. And when you pay this much for a joystick, a arcade stick, I expect the parts to at least be like, you know, best quality as possible. Like this, they can't mess up. Like, this shouldn't be messed up. That is the one thing a fight stick company shouldn't mess up. The stick and the buttons. That's the one thing that shouldn't be messed up. And this kind of just, like, it doesn't not work, you know, like, it still works and there's no problem, but it just sounds so annoying, just like, oh, it frustrates the living hell out of me. But anyway, that's my thoughts and my kind of like my review of the Victrix. I'm not gonna give scores of whatever stuff like that. I just wanted to put my thoughts down of what I thought of the stick, and maybe it will help you decide if, like, it's a lot of money to cash out for a stick. It's a lot of money to cash out for a stick, and hopefully somebody comes across this video and like, hey, this was some really, really nice thoughts, and I could really use this because I was thinking of buying it, but now I don't really want to buy it. Good, that's all I wanted. So hope you liked the video. If you did, please like it. If you loved it, subscribe. That's it. That's all. Have a nice day. See ya.